The Bills began a stretch of 3 AFC East games today with #1 rival and division leader Miami. The Dolphins defense came into Ralph Wilson Stadium not giving up a touchdown in their last 14 quarters. But the only dominant defense today was the Bills, and the offense was pretty dominant too. Watch Ted Washington before the game doing a little dance. He's a pretty good dancer. Opening drive, 3rd and 11. Damon Heward in for, of course, the injured Dan Marino. He's picked off. Antoine Winfield with the interception, and the Bills take over in good field position. This one leads to a 31-yard field goal by Steve Christie, his 200th field goal of his career. 3-0. Bills go up early on. Miami goes 3 and out. Bills driving. Antoine Smith, a big hole to the middle right. Gets the first down, leads to a 48-yard field goal, 6-zip Bills. 9-0 in the second. Flutie out of the shotgun, throwing to tight end Jay Remersma down the sideline, a 33-yard pickup. And they get down inside the 10-yard line where they continue to run the ball. Jonathan Linton runs in for the touchdown. First rushing touchdown the Dolphins have allowed all season, and it ends Miami's 15-quarter scoreless streak on defense. Then the Dolphins driving, 3rd and 7. Bills send the house. Bruce Smith gets the sack. 3rd sack of the season for Bruce. Buffalo holds Miami to a field goal there at 16-3. Dolphins just 3 first downs in the first half. In the second half now,
this one is good.
Cecil Collins was out with a broken leg for the Miami Dolphins, so J.J. Johnson running the ball now. Finds some running room, but this drive would come to an end once again with Bruce Smith getting by Richmond Webb and dragging down Heward, sacking him. Bills continue to pound the ball with the run. Watch Antoine Smith following Sam Gash, who just takes out safety Sean Wooden. 13 yards on the gain and a first down. 3rd and 1 now. Thinking run? Well, the Dolphins bite on that, and Eric Moulds is left wide open. A huge play as Sam Madison elects not to cover Moulds. 53-yard touchdown, 23-3 Bills. Moulds' 5th straight game with a touchdown catch. That is a Bills record. 4th quarter, Phil Hansen wraps up Heward. 3rd sack today for the Bills. Heward sacked 22 times in his last 5 games. The Bills' defense only allowing 101 yards, and the Bills win 23-3. Of course, improving the record now to 7-3 and taking the Dolphins down for the 2nd time this season. It's the first time since 1994 that the Bills have won both regular season matchups. Dennis Williams joins us now live from the stadium. Boy, Dennis, doesn't get much more dominant than that, with the Bills putting up over 300 yards and holding the Dolphins to 101.
Yeah, the thing you have to look at is the Bills went down to Miami in Week 4, and the Dolphins were a favorite, and they were called one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Bills whipped them down in Miami. Miami came in here having not lost since that Monday night game. They were the team to beat once again in the AFC. And the Bills not only beat them, they manhandled them on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they were tremendous. They pounded the football against a team that just, I'll tell you, has been terrific against the run. And it's just been fantastic out here today. They were so dominant on both sides of the ball. Paul Peck is standing by inside in the press room where the press conferences will be going on momentarily. Paul?
Well, Dennis, you figured the key to this game for the Bills would be to make Damon Heward beat them. He hadn't been asked to do that since he's replaced Dan Marino in the lineup, and on that very first pass, he gets picked off. It sets up the Bills for a field goal. They start moving the ball on offense. They're able to run the ball because they held the lead. That set up those things like the Eric Moulds play-action pass touchdown on 3rd down and 1, and the defense just kept putting Heward in tough situations. 3rd and long, they sacked him. They get in his face a couple times. That worked out to be the great strategy for Buffalo, and it really worked today in the 23-3 win. We'll have much more coming up from Ralph Wilson Stadium. We'll get back here right after this.
We really dominated the whole game. You can look at all the stats. Any way you want to look at it, we dominated the game.
Talk about your offensive line and the running game.
Yeah, our offensive line and our running game, we they've got a good run defense. We do too. We had to establish the running game, especially at home. I think that's important for us. We got some audibles and things like that you can do at home, and I thought we did a good job of that. Antoine banged his toe a little bit. I don't know how bad that is. We'll have to see. And Sean Price got hurt hamstring, I think, during the game.
What about Antoine's running? Is this as good as you?
I think he's a hamstring. Pardon me?
Antoine running hard. Was this as good as you've seen him?
Yeah, I thought our running game was our running game, the blocking and the running itself. The backs really ran well. We dominated the first half, and then second half we ran the ball. They had everybody up there at the end. Certainly we could have thrown it like we did to Moles, for the touchdown. We could have gone play action. I think hurt them a little bit more, but we needed to run the clock, and we let them. We let them get everybody up on the line of scrimmage against us, but we still did a pretty good job of running the football at the end.
Wait, can you talk about Bruce Smith? The last few weeks he seemed to be getting close to the quarterback, and this week he's...
Well, we said all along that, our pressure is good on the quarterback, and we've got a lot of hits on the quarterback. Bruce says, I don't know how many hits while the guy's throwing it, but just didn't fall into the sacks. And today he played against a great player in Richmond Webb, and they had some help, but he still got there. He's still a tremendous player and a great inspiration, certainly, especially in passing situations where he can roll off the football.
Hey, Wade, for as good a win as this was, you seem a little subdued. Is there any reason for that?
Well, we went into the game, we expected to win. This was a big game for us, and it put us in a position, I think. We're still not, they're still walking out of here leading our division, as far as I know, so... but it was our chance to be, like I said, a contender, I think, and I'm...
Well, that is Wade Phillips, a happy head coach here at Ralph Wilson Stadium after the Bills win over the Dolphins. In the other locker room, Jimmy Johnson not so happy. Give a listen to his rather brief post-game press conference.
We obviously weren't ready to play. Buffalo blocked us. We didn't block them. We couldn't tackle them. We had a lot of things going on, talking about how good we were and quarterback controversies and everything in the world, except talking about our opponent, an opponent that had beat us pretty good before.
Well, Jimmy Johnson certainly not a happy guy. When asked what happened to his offense, he said the Bills beat the heck out of us and pretty much ended his press conference right then and there. He's not a happy guy, but he sort of told it like it is. The Bills controlled this game, Jody, on both sides of the football.
Thanks, Paul. Of course, a big confidence boost for the Bills today. All right, we'll be back with more from the Bills locker room and more analysis on this big win over the Miami Dolphins. Stay with us.
Welcome back to this Bills Sportsbeat special. Van Miller joins us now. And Van, why are the Bills so dominant against these Dolphins?
It's amazing, amazing. Boy, they get 173 yards rushing. They held Miami to 101 yards total offense. That's the second lowest total in their history. And by the way, your hair holds better in the wind than Jimmy Johnson.
And yours too. It's amazing. And where did you get this thing? It's almost like you're wearing your Dolphins colors.
No, I got this in New Zealand.
All right.
Yeah, I got this down under. That's where Miami was today.
In all seriousness, I'll tell you what, this is amazing that this Bills team has been able to dominate the Dolphins for their only two losses, because Miami's been terrific the rest of the season.
Well, exactly. They went 1, 2, 3 and out the first 4 times they had the ball. The Bills scored the first 4 times they had the ball. They get up 16-0 in the game, and Miami was never in it in the second half. They just didn't do anything.
Do you think that Heward is kind of open now? Obviously teams are going to be able to beat this guy because of what the Bills were able to do to him here.
Well, he's a good young quarterback, and he's paying his dues, but you can't come into this stadium and expect to win. I don't care. Even Dan Marino, he's had a losing record against the Bills history-wise, and, Heward was just up against it today. They couldn't run the ball, so they put him in 3rd and long all afternoon. He's a good young quarterback, but, hey, nobody's going to beat the Bills here today. The way they played, the defense was superb, Dennis.
Without getting too far ahead of ourselves, we got to start thinking about this Bills team as a real contender in the AFC, not just a minor contender. This team now has beaten the Miami Dolphins, and they've been called the team to beat.
Well, yeah, but there's a long way to go, and nobody is giving up in this division. Look at Indianapolis wins again today. They beat the Giants at the Meadowlands. Miami is still very much in the hunt. because they have an easy schedule. They have 4 out of their last 6 games at home. You know, everybody but the Jets is in this mix. New England certainly very much alive. And now you got to worry about the running back situation. Jonathan Linton goes down today, and I hope that Antoine Smith, you know, I don't think he was seriously hurt, but boy, that could create a problem. So injuries start to play a factor into it as you get down toward the playoffs, Dennis.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My hair looks awful. I apologize to our viewers out there.
We'll get you a hat next. You got put your hat on. Go ahead, put your hat on. Jody, and I'm going to testify for Steve Christie being amazing hitting those 3 field goals because it is some kind of windy out here. I don't even think I could hit a 20-yarder, so we're going to throw it back to you, Jody.
Well, especially a 48-yarder and a 47-yarder, and you can't blame him for missing one of those. All right, we'll be back with much more from Ralph Wilson Stadium on the Dolphins' 23-3 win over the Bills' 23-3 win over the Dolphins. Welcome back to our Bills post-game special. We head back out to the stadium where Paul Peck is in the Bills locker room, and a nice, easy, efficient game for the offense and Doug Flutie, Paul.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Doug Flutie addressing the media right now. Let's head up there.
I don't know how many sacks we had defensively, how many carries offensively, running the ball. Everyone played well. And it felt to me like a day off. I was just kind of dispersing the ball a little bit and just getting in and out of the huddle.
You TD to Eric, the series before that, you hit Andre, I think on a 3rd and something for a first down, and you pounded your fist to the ground and you pointed at Eric. Was that the same play that you hit?
No. We had a hot read on the left side, and we checked the protection one way or the other. I yelled over to Eric to get his attention to warn him that if this guy comes, we're hot. And Eric gave me the nod, and he knew it. And on the snap of the ball, I didn't think he came, and I looked the other way, and then I saw him out of the corner of my eye come. So what I really should have done was turn and hit Eric hot, give him the ball, and let him try to make a move on a guy one-on-one and try to get the first down that way. Instead, once I realized I was late with that, I went ahead and just stayed and drifted a little bit away from the rush and threw the ball to Andre. So I was just kind of mad at myself for not being disciplined in that and seeing it. Boy, if Ruben's return means as much as what's happened the last 2 weeks, he deserves a lot of money. I mean, I don't know if it's, you know, it's just the whole offensive line. It's also the fact that, you know, we're sticking with it a little bit more and pounding it. And everybody, I think it's the whole team. Receivers are blocking better, coming in and getting force guys, and it's the whole package. One guy doesn't make it. Now Ruben's experience there can cut down on missed assignments. You know, when there's a lot of communication that goes on up front while I'm into my snap count during the cadence. So, you know, that's what experience brings you. When you have experienced guys working together that are used to working together, there's a lot fewer mistakes going on. So you get a hat on a hat. The physical aspect of the game, a lot of guys physically can play the game. And you bring those years of experience in there, and then it takes away some of the missed assignments.
How important was it to get that turnover right away, and get points on the board right away?
Yeah. The turnover early on just set the tempo, set the flow of the game. I don't know that it was important to get that, you know, the game might have, I don't think the game would have gone too much different, or too differently if we hadn't gotten it. But to get it, got the crowd involved in the game, got us on the scoreboard in a hurry, and it set the tone for the rest of the game.
Few teams pushed their front seven around like you saw today. Did you sense anything?
I didn't. I really didn't expect that. I was hoping we'd be able to run the ball the way we did, and then it opens up some play action and does the other things for us, which, you know, ultimately was the easy touchdown to Eric. You know, 3rd and 1, we were pounding the ball, they sell out for the run, and we get a big play. So the running game can open up a lot of other things for you. I was thinking that we may have to spread them out a little bit and make some plays that way. But the bottom line was we had a lot of confidence in our defense that they were getting the job done or were going to get a job done. So you don't have to take as many risks. And if you do pound the ball in there and you end up getting stuffed, it's okay to punt the ball.
Doug Flutie had a relatively easy day, handed off a lot, but that was part of the game plan. The Bills executed it very well in their 23-3 win over the Miami Dolphins. We'll have more from Ralph Wilson Stadium coming up right after this.
Welcome back to this Bills postgame show. You know, the Bills offense is proving that this running game that they displayed against the Washington Redskins is really no fluke. Today, putting up 173 yards on the ground against the Dolphins defense that had only given up 100 yards on the ground once before, and that was in week 1. Dennis Williams joins me now. And Dennis, Jeff Fisher, the coach of the Tennessee Titans, said nobody runs between those tackles, Tim Bowens and Darrell Gardner. Well, the Bills ran inside, outside, pretty much everywhere today, and that's a key for the rest of the season. If this running game can continue, the Bills' offense should be on track.
Yeah, Antoine Smith was terrific. 123 yards on the ground. Perhaps his best game as a Buffalo Bill. Just running with authority, hitting the holes, running outside as well. Big gains all afternoon long. There were a ton of terrific stats for the Bills. They got the first rushing TD all season against the Miami Dolphins defense. They also, that first half touchdown by Jonathan Linton was the first touchdown given up by the Miami defense in 15 quarters. Eric Moulds had a touchdown catch for the 5th straight game. That ties a Bills record with Albert Dubenion. And Bruce Smith had 2 sacks after having 2 all season. Phil Hansen passed Cornelius Bennett for second all-time in Bills sacks. So tons of great things happened for the Buffalo Bills in this game. Let's go back into the locker room to Paul Peck. Paul?
All right, thanks, Dennis. There's a new sheriff in town here. His name is Sam Rogers. The NFL teams are so good, and the Miami Dolphins are a good football team. You just don't expect to shut somebody down as well as you guys did today. What was that like for you?
Well, when Ted came in and told us we held him to 101 yards, it was like, wow. But we didn't know out there. We knew we'd pretty much try to dominate the game, on defense and offensively. But it's amazing to hold the Miami Dolphins team down to 101 yards.
Was part of the strategy finding out whether Damon Huard can beat you? I mean, make this guy make the plays that he hadn't been asked to do in their previous 3 starts?
No, we pretty much keep the same game plan. We don't try to alter our game plan around one person. We know Miami offensive line do not like coming in here. They do not like our front 7. So we knew if we just stayed after him and stayed consistent, he's going to eventually make some mistakes.
Right, the Dolphins offense had been running rather mistake-free. That's why they've been winning. They didn't make any mistakes. The defense keep people down. You intercept Huard. You guys intercept Huard on his very first pass. How much did that change the momentum for you guys and for them and sort of change the focus of this game a little?
Well, anytime you have a big turnover like that changes the mood, that changes the swings, and things like that, especially them being here in Buffalo, the crowd being behind us. Antoine got the interception. It was like, wow. It was like, then by the offense kicking the field goal into the win, we knew we had the game pretty much locked up because everything's bouncing our way.
All right, Sam Rogers, he's got the hat, but Phil Hansen had the sack today. We're going to send it up to the podium to hear what Phil has to say.
Just talk about what they showed you.
Well, they had success down there when we played them down there. After looking at the film down there, we knew we had to change a few things, just some gap assignments. We did that, and this game, we're a little more prepared for it with the plays they were running, and that made a lot of difference for us.
How about pass rush? It seemed like you really got there wasn't just one guy.
Well, anytime the offense scored first 3, 6, 9 points, and anytime you can make a team one-dimensional, they were. They kind of had to play catch-up. Of course, they wanted to run the ball, but the farther they got down, then that required that they pass the ball. When you make a team one-dimensional like that, it's only an advantage to us on defense.
So you're now number 2 in all franchise history in sacks. Talk about that.
Well, Bruce Smith is next. So, no, that's that. I guess that's a kind of a personal accomplishment. 50 or 52 sacks. 9 years. Took me a long time to get there, but that's a personal accomplishment. I'm happy with that, I guess.
When do you think you might catch Bruce?
Well, Bills fans love to see their team beat the Miami Dolphins, and they love to see them walk away sulking, and Jimmy Johnson did just that.
Any questions?
Jimmy, what did this defense do to shut down your offense?
They beat the hell out of us.
Well, Jody, that pretty much sums things up here from Ralph Wilson Stadium. Jimmy Johnson has the last word, and it's obvious the Bills beat the heck out of them today here at the Ralph. Jody?
That's right. Doesn't get any better than that for Bills fans. Well, that wraps up this post-game special. Be sure to tune in for Sportsbeat Sunday tonight at 11:15, and of course, the Wade Phillips Show Friday at 7. For Dennis Williams and Paul Peck, I'm Jody Jackson. Have a great night.
strikes out.